Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to Wealth Wednesday. Hopefully, you guys are blessed and doing well. Just real quick, if you guys have not checked out already, we've recorded 3 episodes at the studio the past couple of weeks. Very good topics, topics that are gonna live on for a long time, and you should consume them at any point. I would highly recommend that you go back and check out those topics in those episodes. And thank you guys for being a part of the journey. I'm excited about today's conversation because we're talking all about Puerto Rico today. All right, the good, bad, and the ugly. So, with that being said, Jeremiah, how you feeling today, bro?
Excited. Anytime that we talk about the crib, I'm excited
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Cool. So, big headlines around Puerto Rico's solar energy investments. Some investments being stalled, some investments being redirected. And one individual is actually making a positive impact on the island, which I'm excited to get into his story. We're going to cover that at the end of the podcast. So stay tuned for the whole episode to check out this individual in Puerto Rico making a positive impact on the island. But first and foremost, $365 million redirected in Puerto Rico. What's going on with this? The U.S. redirects Puerto Rico solar funds to oil plants. All right. So the Trump administration will halt funding of $365 million awarded during the previous administration for rooftop solar panels, solar power in Puerto Rico, and they will redirect it to fossil fuel burning plants and maintenance of infrastructure, as it was said last Wednesday. The administration of President Donald Trump has supported maximizing the output of fossil fuels and dismantling policies by former President Joe Biden's administration. All right. So here's a quote from the department. They said the redirection of these funds will expand access to reliable power for millions of people rather than thousands and generate a higher return on investment for taxpayers while advancing grid resiliency for Puerto Rico. This was also said last Wednesday. What else? The administration awarded the funding for solar power and battery storage in late 2024 for projects that had been slated to begin construction in 2026. Jeremiah, how you feeling about this, man? As a man that's currently in position to transition to Puerto Rico within probably the next couple weeks, how you feeling about this when you heard this news?
It wasn't surprising. We know that the Republican Party has for a long time it's been anti-environmental, anti-renewable energy, I would say. And they're more focused more on the traditional commodities, which is oil and things like that. And my thing is probably we should probably focus on having more of a balance. It
Hmm.
shouldn't be one or the other. It should be a
Yeah.
mix. And I think that would help Puerto Rico as well because the thing that people don't understand is Puerto Rico's grid is actually super aged. It's not like it is in the United States. And so, yes, you can do some minor changes to the infrastructure, the wiring, and things like that. You can change things out, power lines, transformers, bursts, things like that, right? And then you change those out. But Puerto Rico's grid is just it's extremely aged, it's super old. And so, what I'm trying to figure out is there was actually feasibility study, and what they looked at was it more costly to invest in the current infrastructure and put that money into it, and then where would that leave Puerto Rico versus putting money towards the initiatives to do
Hmm.
solar power? And what was found was that it was actually more beneficial, right, to look at microgridding or the creation of power to generate through, solar, right,
Hmm.
wind as well. So if we could take that and then put it onto a grid, a microgrid, and have batteries and things like that, that actual that investment was better. The feasibility showed that was a better investment. And so, what do we know? Given Doge, given all these things and every right,
Hmm.
feasibility isn't the focus of this particular administration. Um, the focus is to repeal anything that had anything to do with Joe Biden,
Hmm.
and it doesn't
Make
matter
him
if it
look
was
bad.
yeah, and it doesn't matter if it was for the betterment of all this, and we see this because what you see is bipartisan, um, basically I don't know, man, bipartisan support and like asking the question why are we doing the things that we're doing? You have Republicans and Democrats that are both doing that, and so we know that anything that we can do to try to repeal stuff from under Joe Biden that could be positive or could turn into something positive, those things we want to just overturn. And I see this as another instance of this. Um, and I also feel that people don't believe me. You can just kind of look back to freaking Hurricane Maria when it
Hmm.
happened, and look at the response from Trump and the things that were done.
Hmm. It was,
Basketball,
it was
paper
a joke.
towels,
It was a joke.
craziness. Yeah. So there's not a concern or conscientious focus on Puerto Rico from this administration, especially if we're not going to essentially get in line and become a state. And so I think people should be paying attention to that. And this doesn't surprise me. All
Mm,
of the we're going to remove funding but we'll just put it into the grid. And I mean, the grid is you're going to spend that money and it's not going to happen. So
hmm.
what happens is you cut the money off from the initiatives that would actually see like solid progress because by 2050 Puerto Rico has to be 100% on renewable energy.
Hmm.
Okay. So you halt that progress for the next 3.5 years. And so what it does is just pushes us further back. So then if
Further
another
back.
administration comes in, they have to restart that initiative. And what happens is you do that pendulum swinging back and forth
Mm.
and you never finish because all it is it goes and it stops. It goes and it stops. And that's where we're at. And that's my opinion. I think it has nothing to do with the betterment of Puerto Rico. I think it's just a political game. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, look, a quote straight from the department. They said the redirection of these funds will expand access to reliable power for millions of people rather than thousands and generate a higher return on investment. I think that was the part that they were really trying to focus and hone in about the investment part, right? For taxpayers. Um,
Hmm.
so when we mention the fossil fuel burning plants, is that the current infrastructure what they have in
It
Puerto
is.
Rico? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
And you can make improvements to the actual plants themselves, right? And you can change those things and make improvements and update them. But what I'm saying is the actual infrastructure, the wiring, the
Hmm.
grid itself. So the actual physical component of the grid is aged extremely, right? And it's in a climate that I want you guys to think about this. What happens when you put water with electricity? It's not the greatest, right?
Hmm.
And so what happens is you have to coat these wires. You have to like basically better insulate the wires in a climate that's already basically humid, right? It's a
Humid.
it's a jungle, right? It's a rainforest. It's on the equator, and so you have all this humidity, all these things that are weighing down the hurricanes that come, the wind, right? And so you have to understand how to better construct this grid and how much money are you going to put into recoating the wiring, right? Create to give that insulation that you need. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's an overall thought. It's just stuff that we say and it sounds good, but realistically, when we sit and think about it, it's like, okay, this is not that smart.
Mm.
It's, but hey,
Yeah, man, this is crazy. How you can just halt funding, redirect $365 million. It's an initial plan for something, and you just, okay, we're just gonna swing it this way.
I mean, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. I would also look at who controls the companies that would benefit
That's
from
what,
that
yes.
money being turned the opposite direction. I want people to think about this, right? There's people in place and people in power that you send that money through their hands. Puerto Rico will never see that money.
Mm.
And honestly, Puerto Rico will tell you they never see any money because it's
Yeah,
so corrupt. They don't see anything. So at least with solar power, it was, at least I got some power, right? I got
yeah,
something.
yeah. I
I
can
mean,
see where the money.
I can see something. Yeah, this is just like someone's gonna tell you that they're making your wires better, and you're like, they're
Okay.
telling you that, and se fue la luz, and ain't no
Mm.
lights, and they just telling you, you just sitting there like, but you made my wires better. I mean,
Mm.
I don't know,
Mm.
man. I,
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, I would. They won't let me in those rooms, but I would love to be in those rooms where they're
100.
making these decisions. Like, what is the
100%.
thought process? Who are they? Do they have I'm curious, man. Like I just would love to be a fly on the wall.
I believe more thought goes into
Do they have
the meme
engineers in the
coin
room that are
creation.
explaining like what's going on, like
No,
the process? Hey, this is a little outdated. I think we should go this way with solar panels.
no, they don't. Like I said, I think they put more time into the meme coin creation.
Okay, that's what it is. That's what it is.
No, I'm being for
No,
real.
you damn right. You
I
damn right.
think
You
that I
damn
think
right.
there's more focus on meme coin and watches and ways
Yeah,
to,
yeah. The
to
shoes more
monetize the
important.
shoes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's more focus on the marketing strategy, how to monetize being the president, than there is actual thoughts about the repercussions from our decisions.
And
And I
they're
know
trying to
Puerto
squeeze
Rico is not
out
a state. And
they're
that's
trying to
one of
squeeze out every dollar while he's in there.
yeah, but I mean, but that's one of the biggest things, right? It's like, well, you guys aren't a state, so we really don't have any responsibility to you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's rough. And it's also rough for the governor of Puerto Rico as well, as Puerto Rico's governor came under fire Tuesday as her pledge to support the investments of millions of federal dollars in solar projects across Puerto Rico appeared to fade. All right, so this is what's going on. We breaking down these two stories because y this is literally what's going on out there right now, and it's very unfortunate to see. Since last month, the department has not been in communication with those who awarded the grant, including the nonprofit Hispanic Federation. Someone said who is the public policy director of Puerto Rico of Solar Energy and Storage Association said there's been a deadly silence. No one's talking about anything. We're not saying nothing. Um, in addition to that, until recently, Governor Jennifer Gonzalez who is a supporter of President Donald Trump, had backed more than $1 billion appropriated by Congress for solar panels in Puerto Rico, including a $365 million grant, which we just spoke about, right? But the governor's public affairs secretary told a radio station on Monday that the governor tried to defend the funds, but ultimately withdrew her support for the grant. He said that the governor has proposed using the funds to improve the generation, transmission, and the distribution of power, and is focused on ensuring that there's enough electricity for the summer month. So, and he followed up and said, "We are extremely surprised and shocked over this development, and we want the governor to reconsider her position and continue to fulfill her word," is what he said directly. So again, it's a lot of switching up the funds, changing of plans and whatnot. And it's people on her camp are surprised and they want her to reconsider her position.
I mean, are we really surprised? I don't even know if she's actually governor.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I'm just saying. But are you really surprised someone that supports Trump? Are you really surprised that they don't care about Puerto Rico? I mean, and we could say, and we can go to the opposite too, because the opposite party that was more democratically laced, right? Linked, excuse me.
Mhm.
Do they even care? I mean,
Mm. You can
Puerto Rico's
argue, you can not, my bad, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say they're a microcosm of the macro. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
it's because we are placed the way that we are, the things that are happening there. The reason you notice them so much is because it's a small island and you can control it. But the same things to a much greater scale are happening in America, and you just can't keep track of it because they hide it better. But it's the same thing. Your money, like no money, and they're like, well, that's what Doge was for. Mm.
Mm.
I mean, what do you
That's
think about
some
this
got
whole
I
deal?
think
Because
some got to change.
yeah, because I mean, well, she's gonna go quiet. I mean, what does that indicate to you?
You don't care.
Number one. Number two, what does it indicate?
What do you think?
Watch Jennifer Gonzalez's net worth change after she gets out of the
Mm.
governor. Yeah. You can go look at the salary of what it would be to be governor of Puerto Rico, and then you go look at her holdings, the real
Mm.
estate, um, things of that nature. Do a deep dive. She got paid off.
Yeah, it's
Somebody
money
gave her
money
money.
driven.
Somebody gave her money.
Yeah.
You step away from something from a cause that's justifiable if you're paid appropriately. If you're for hire, right? And we know that that's how it is. I mean, we're selling American citizenship. We're doing right. We're for hire, right? So and she's for hire. So, you know, they come down, they tell her, look, we're about to do this.
Mm.
But in the meantime, we'll give you 15, 20 million. Just shut your mouth. And she does it because she's for hire.
Man, I don't know. How
Hey,
man,
give it a
I'm
few years.
yeah,
You could go
I'm
back
just
and watch it.
I'm
How
just
many
lost.
times?
I'm just
Go
lost
ahead.
for
Go ahead.
word. I'm sorry, bro. I'm just lost for words because before we hit record, we talking about who are three people that we want to sit at the dinner table with, and people
Yeah.
that we listed, man, like these people that have backbones that care
Yeah.
and that will lay their life down for what they believe in.
100%.
Do these people not exist anymore?
What happened in life is the dollar has been placed above integrity, and there's no direct correlation or award that's been correlated to having integrity. Because what happened is money or this, whatever the status or whatever, right? The things that you acquire from that became more important. And we started elevating and pushing people on a
Mm,
pedestal that had more things than
yeah,
had integrity.
yeah,
And that's the problem. So you could be one of the most virtuous and honest people in the world, and then you'll just be broke.
yeah.
And that's sad. It shouldn't be that way, but
It
that's
shouldn't.
right. And then no one's going to listen to you because you don't have money, because they
You
only
got
listen
money,
to
you don't
people
got
with money,
things.
right? So you could be the most spiritually rich person in the world, but nobody's going to listen to you because you don't have money. And so that's what it is. And I mean, basically, people are just, if you pay the right price, I'll do whatever you want if you just give me enough money. Um, and that's Puerto Rico gets a bad rap for that, but it's no different than the American, like
For
us
sure,
here
for
in the
sure. Oh,
States. Like
100%.
it's no different.
A lot of countries deal with this.
Yeah, everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't trust. I don't know, man. Politicians are crazy. It's a wild thing. I think Puerto Rico gets a very bad rap for it, but the same thing happens here.
Mm.
People just don't see it. I don't think.
It definitely happens out here for sure. But I will say what else is happening on the island is a $30 million investment in a Puerto Rican community. Eduardo Carrera knew something was missing as
Yeah,
he was the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Puerto Rico
there it
um,
is.
for 10 years. He saw firsthand a persistent challenge facing children there, 57% of whom live below the poverty line. He's seen this, he's seen a problem, and he wanted to provide a solution. So in 2022, he founded the Platform for Social Impact, which is also known as PSI, to bridge global capital with local communities. Now, the reason why he founded this is because he noticed one of the ingredients that was suppressing progress is outside funding, right? So again, he created the Platform for Social Impact. The organization identifies capital that has not traditionally come to Puerto Rico and then works with local nonprofits to design and deliver essential services for the people of Puerto Rico. All right, the model proved successful as PSI secured a $30 million grant from the U.S. Economic Development Administration and then opened up the Oasis Hub. And this hub will offer educational program, after school activities, healthcare services, and workforce training through partnership with local organizations. You can't tell
Shouts
me
out
that you give
out to
the right
him.
people, shouts out to him, the right people money that we're not going to do something with it.
That's a factual statement. Um, I want you to think about think of the story that we just talked about, right? It was
Come on,
360
bro. I'm
millionaire
kind of
women
hot right now. I'm kind of
that
mad
went the
right now. I
different
ain't gonna lie.
direction. But you can't give him you don't find that weird That's what I'm
Bro,
saying. You don't
that's
find that weird
bro,
that
you
you
give
could
him
give him
365,
what would he do with it?
what is he
And you're
gonna do
like,
with it?
well, I'm talking about power, but here's the thing. 57% of the youth in Puerto Rico, and if you've never been, and I'm not talking about like San Juan and standing on the resort and all that, like real Puerto Rico.
Bro, Puerto Rico.
Maybe you don't stay there after dark. I'm just telling you, but real Puerto Rico, if you go and you see like the Caserío, the hoods, all that's out there, 57% of the children are living below the poverty line. And so when you invest into the children, what you are is you're making a better, right, future Puerto Rico. And that's what he understands. You heard what you said there. He ran into huge difficulty getting money to make things better for children.
Mm,
But they don't have any problem.
no.
It's man, yeah,
It's wild.
it's wild,
It's
man.
it's
That's
wild,
that's
man.
that's what I'm saying. It's yeah. Uh,
And shout out to this guy because I
Shouts out
mentioned
to him.
workforce training through partnership with local organization. There's a local organization, I forgot the name of it, but they help people that graduate high school and college get into the workforce. So the
Dope.
kids that are at this hub, they're getting, after school educational program, after school activities. They're being guided to be in the workforce, whether it's helping them out with resumes, helping them break down application so they have a better chance getting in the workforce and being successful in their career.
I mean, and I think also that I'm sure probably there, he probably didn't speak on it because of like health guidance or whatever, but I'm sure he feeds them as well.
For sure.
And so like
Yeah.
these are things that are worthwhile. These are things that are very important to, what people don't understand when you don't cultivate the youth, when you don't teach them better, this is how your nation starts to deteriorate,
Hmm.
and this is where America's at, and this is where he's trying to help prevent from Puerto Rico going down that same path. So, PSI,
Hmm.
it's funny. I'm gonna like reach out because I need to link him with. There's some people that are looking,
Mm.
and they're
There's
Latinos, and they're looking to give money, massive amounts of money, and that's a viable place for that money to go. So,
got to, yep. So that's it for today's episode. We wanted to show the dichotomy of Puerto Rico, what's going on, the two sides. Yes, there's a lot of corruption, but that I don't think we should allow that to be our reality and allow it to be an excuse because there's people out here that are raising $30 million. There's individuals like us that are coming on here educating every single week. Um, and it's ultimately I was just randomly like I think I was going on a walk the other day, and I know what's really big within our community is to blame these celebrities, blame these artists and these athletes. So and so ain't doing this and that. And I have this conversation with myself. I'm like, bro, it's on us. How long have we been saying like so and so ain't been pouring back? It's gonna be a long time afterwards as well. It's
yeah,
got to be on us to do something. Use our ta You hear Jeremiah say it all the time. Everybody has talents and resources in our community. We do things at a very high level as Puerto Ricans, right? So it's on us. We can't be relying on the governor or this artist. It's on us.
it's never been on them, and I think that that's another thing. You asked what happened. That's another piece. We started relying upon celebrities and
That's it.
politicians. You got to be self-reliant, and the way to do that is for us to work together and unify and come up with all of the skill sets that we have, and we come together and we make things better within our community. Each community work
Mm,
together, and then we, collaborate together on a grander scale. So
yeah. And shout out to this dude. Like
for sure,
this hits home with me because I was a Boys and Girls Club kid when
me
I was
too.
young.
Me
And
too.
so as him being the CEO in Puerto Rico is dope to see that, for him to get to that point to be CEO, it's probably a whole story and a journey in itself
Sure.
to want to
Yeah.
devote to his community and then to turn around and to create this hub is super dope. Would love to meet him and connect with him one of these days. But anything else, Jeremiah, before we get out of here?
No, man. Super appreciative of everyone. There's multiple people out there, and we don't know
There is.
everybody, right? Everything
Yeah.
doesn't get reported, but you know. last time I'm near home, I'm walking around and I'm just seeing just the hospitality and seeing people help
Yeah.
each other out. And I'm seeing a lot of new businesses and a lot of mentality of things changing. So I'm
Mm.
encouraged by that for sure.
Concur. Absolutely. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Share this with somebody else that needs to hear this podcast, this platform. And it's your boy Chris and Jeremiah. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.